Hey everyone, this is Nemo. Welcome to this first lesson on developing PrestaShop modules. This is just the very first video of a 6+ hours course that you can get at the link you see on screen right now. In lesson 1, we will go through the basics of modules development in PrestaShop. So if you want to get more info on the full course, make sure you check out the full list by clicking the link you see now. Anyway, let's get started. Welcome to lesson 1. So here I am in PrestaShop and I'm using 1.6.1.1, but all of the 1.6 versions and actually the latest 1.5 are okay to follow this series, and I will mention differences where any. Since the series is all about development, I will not dive deep into the basics of PrestaShop. So if you feel like you need some extra knowledge before starting, well then have a look at my PrestaShop 101 series at nemops.com/PrestaShop-101-series and pay extra care to day 6 about modules. Now, we know we can find modules in the modules modules and services area of the back office, but where are they physically stored on the server? Well, easily enough to find, the folder that contains all of our add-ons is simply called modules. And it's to be found, as you can see, in the root of PrestaShop. So why don't we go ahead and make a simple module that displays a text string in the front office. So inside this modules folder, I will create a new one. I will call it module demo. Okay. Now we will talk about the proper module structure in the next video, but for now, let's just manually create a new PHP file. So I'm using Sublime Text 2 as my code editor, which I highly recommend, but any will be fine, really. So first of all, let me create the file. So I will make a new file and I will save it to modules and module demo, and we'll call it module demo.php. It has to have the same name of the containing folder, otherwise the module will not work. So save, and now let's initialize PHP tags here and start writing some code. So if is not defined, PS version, let's wrap it within quotes. So if it's not defined, exit. This should be added at the very beginning of any module so that it won't be loaded directly as, for example, with a hacking attempt. Module is basically a class or object in the PHP OOP notation, which extends the core module class that provides several helper methods, and we will go through them in the series. So I will create a class named module demo 1. Actually, it should be camel case. So module demo extends module. Now the class has to have the same name of the file and folder. Then even the most essential PrestaShop module is made up of at least 3 methods plus 1, which is not always necessary. The first 3 are construct, install, and then a hook method. The last one would be an optional configuration page for the back office named get content. And this is what we will be doing in today's video. So first, we need to define the constructor for this class, which will give the module object some basic info when instantiated. So public function, this is just raw PHP really, construct. So first, the module needs a name, and again, it must be the same name of the folder and core file. So module demo. Okay, now this tab, and the tab is where the module will be shown in the back office when using filters. So front office features is just a generic table. Actually, let me go ahead and show you. So as you can see right now, we're getting an error because our class has not been created yet, but these are the filters I was talking about. And you can see front office features is one of them. Have a look at the lesson notes if you want to know about other available tabs. So let's continue on with our module. So this version is 1.0. Then it needs to know the other of the module, Nemo in this case. And then PS versions compliancy. Well, this will tell, it's an array that will tell PrestaShop which versions of the software this module can be installed on. So in its minimum PrestaShop version, let's say 1.5, and a maximum, let's say 1.6. Actually, no. Let's say PS version, so that it will always be compatible with the current version. Version. Okay. Then this need instance equals 0. What is this? Well, this property indicates whether the module needs to be loaded in the modules and instantiated in the modules section of the backoffice or not. In this case, I don't want it. Then for PrestaShop 1.6 only, this bootstrap equals true, and this is to display a nicer view of the backoffice configuration page. Then display name, this will be shown in the backoffice modules list, and since it will be shown to the user, I want this variable to be translatable into other languages. So I will use this L, and we'll call module demo. Okay, then I will add a description. Again, this L, just a demo. All right, now that it has an identity, we can tell it what to do upon install. And I said we want to display something in the front office and thus use a front office hook. We will go through hooks later in the series, but for now, just know there are spots or moments when a module performs certain actions. So I will go ahead and write the install method. I will just do it and then explain what the various parts mean. So public function install. So if parent install or this register hook display left column. If this happens, I will return false. Otherwise, I will just return true. So a parent install will simply call the core module class and have it install the module and do all the things it needs to let PrestaShop know that module is installed. Then we register the hook so that the module will run a method when display left column, which is the hook's name, is invoked by PrestaShop. If any of these two operations fail, we return false, so that the backoffice will spawn an error and inform the user something went wrong. Otherwise, well, we just return true so that it can display the confirmation message. So our goal was to show something in the left column. And any hooking method should be written as public function hook followed by the name of the hook. So in this case, display left column. And it accepts a variable called params, and we will talk about this later on in the series. Inside it, we can freely play and do basically what we want. So whatever this method returns will be displayed in the front office. So let's give it a try. I will return hello world. We all love hello world. Okay, save. Please notice I am not using echo or print or anything else. I'm using return because the content must be returned in order to be visible. Okay, so save again. Let me just test this module. I will refresh the back office page and I will look for module demo install. PrestaShop, since PrestaShop 1.6.0.8, I think, the software displays a message in case you're trying to install something that doesn't come from the official marketplace. But this is just a warning. You don't really need to worry about that. Okay, so the module has been installed. So let me check in my front office now. Oh, good. Category. Scroll down and you can see hello world here. Nice. However, we want the module to display our own data, something or we can change from the back office, for example. So we need a method that accepts inputs and saves them into the database. So the next step is to create the get content method I mentioned already. PrestaShop will look for this method once the module is installed and, if present, display a configure button that leads to the configuration page. We will see later on how to create standalone tabs and tie into other areas of the back office as well. So now we will just make a basic form and handle its submitted data so it saves into the database. I'll enrich my code and add my public function get content. So first I will initialize an HTML variable here, and then I will add something to it. So I want to write a very simple form here. So form action, and this is gonna be posting to the very same page. So action will be server request URI. Method will be post, and then a class. This is not needed in PrestaShop 1.5, so default form dash horizontal. Great. Then PrestaShop 1.5 would want field set here, but PrestaShop 1.6 wants a div with class panel. Now I'll close the div. Oops. Then to give it a title, 1.5 would use legend. 1.6 uses another div with class panel dash heading. Okay. And the title will be this L settings. Again, I'm using translatable string here. All right, so let me actually split this thing up. So I'm using text expansions just to make my job quicker. So I will add again to the HTML So we got that wrapper laid out. Now let's add a very simple input box and a submit button as well. So div class form dash group. Again, this is 1.6 only. Inside it, I want to add a label. with a class named control label call LG-3. This is Bootstrap in the back office. You can just use a simple label with PrestaShop 1.6 in this case. So I will use another expansion here just to make it quicker. I will call this my field, again translatable string, and then I will add another div. So div with a class of call large 6. I'll make an input with type text. And name equals our text. And no value for now. Okay. Then again, I will append another piece of code for the submit button. So input type submit, name submit update, and this will be the action. Value will be again ps lang. This is my expander. Save, no placeholder, and class, it's just flowing outside the video. Class is btn-default. So for PrestaShop 1.5, it should have been button, like this. Okay, save. Lastly, the method has to return our HTML so that we can display it. So return HTML. Okay. All right, so let's now try refreshing so we can see that configure button and click it. So configure. Great. Now our config pops up, but we wouldn't go much further than playing if we were to save data now. Therefore, we need to write some code that handles submitted data. Let's do it in, well, actually the get content method for now, but we will see in the next video a better approach would be to create another method for it. So right before our text but, after initializing that HTML var, and you'll see why in a second, I'll use if. So I'm using a helper here, tools is submit update. So if we submitted that form, configuration update value. And we're using another helper method here that, as the name suggests, updates a database value. So the first parameter we will pass in is the name of the configuration parameter will update, or in this case create. So I will call it module demo test text, for example, while the second one is the actual value. Yet again, I will use a helper, which is tools get value, and then the key name, which is our text. Okay, so tools get value accepts a key name for any post or get variable, and it will get it in case it exists. Now, here is why I initialized that HTML variable first. I want to attach a confirmation message upon submit. So I will use yet again another useful helper, display confirmation. This L settings updated. Great, let's test it out. So my field. I'll write something and say, let's see what happens. Settings updated. Great. But does it really work? We can't tell it yet as we're not displaying anything out of the database. So let's try to give our input field a default value by grabbing it from the database. So I will scroll to my input and I'll add a value for it. And I will use another helper PrestaShop has. So configuration get with the name of that key. So module demo testx was it. Okay, so let's see if it works. Great, it does. So let's try again. Yep, nice. Now we have everything we need to display the text in the front office. So let's go back to display left column. So we learned that we can simply call configuration get to retrieve a config value from the database and store it to a variable or display it. So instead of returning hello world, I will just comment this out, return configuration get, and again, module demo test text. Okay, so let me check that everything's in place, and it seems I forgot parent construct. All right. So check it. Front office now should say AS, whatever thing. Great, so it works. But this way it would kill the purpose of the MVC format PrestaShop somehow follows, and which I just ignored for both the back and front office. So in the next video, we will examine a module structure more in depth and see how to deal with templates, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I'll see you there.